%85% of partners prefer a man who is groomed below the waist, and 96% of partners think bad grooming is a major turn-off. That's where Manscaped have come in to help us all out, including myself, lads. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a trimmer specifically designed with our crown jewels in mind. It has skin-safe technology to reduce those nicks and cuts and gives you the maximum confidence while trimming below the waist. It's also IPX7 waterproof rated, so you can operate in wet or dry conditions. It has a premium 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology and a massive 90-minute battery time, which is supported by its wireless electromagnetic charging function. With the Performance Package 4.0, you'll get the Crop Reviver with witch hazel and powerful odor defense. This keeps your balls protected after a good shave. Crop Preserver with its soothing aloe vera and advanced quick absorbing cream, keeping your balls feeling fresh and hydrated. And the Weed Whacker to trim ear and nose hair. The Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep you the most groomed man in the room. Use our code XTRA20 XTRA20 at checkout and you'll save yourself 20% off your order and receive free international shipping. Yes, people, welcome back to another stream, and it has been a crazy 24 hours. We've had the here we go, Josko Gvardiol to Manchester City confirmed, everyone buzzing, and it seemed like a matter of days until Gvardiol joined, and then it was shut down from journalists based in the UK. Fabrizio Romano doubled down and tripled down. However, now we are getting news from some journalists in Germany that this deal is far from complete. It seems like maybe two clubs are very, very frustrated at what has happened in the last 24 hours. Gvardiol is in pre-season training with RB Leipzig, and will Manchester City even pay the money that Leipzig wants? There's a lot to discuss. In the midst of all that, we also have potential news on Bernardo Silva. It is very early, and it is all sort of like ITK stuff, but we will come on to that. There's so much to get through. I'm joined by Jace, Mulv, Martin, and Hugh, as always, for the big show, which is the Avengers show. Lads, thank you for joining, man. Let's start straight away with this. And what I was going to start about Bernardo Silva, but this sort of like last couple of hours, it's properly popped off again on Gvardiol. Mulv, let me start with you, mate. What is your take on the sort of last 24 hours with this Gvardiol thing? Have you ever seen anything like this before? It's kind of crazy, mate.
No, I don't think I have, man. Yeah, it's been mad back and forth. Obviously, at this point, we don't know. My take, I'm purely guessing, is that some funny business happened right at the last minute. Somebody's asked for something, maybe an agent, something like that. But yeah, somebody's thrown a wrench in it right at the in the 11th hour. Is my take on it.
Martin, what were you saying on this deal?
Funnily enough, I just think Fab went a bit early. Probably was down the line. He's probably tweeted that, and both clubs have gone, hey, what? Weren't ready for that. And they've all sort of tried to reverse it a bit. Didn't help with Gvardiol on social media start following all the City players all over the shop, which made it even more going to meltdown.
Yeah.
And then you hear that, the club started briefing the local press that there was no deal. And then obviously Leipzig will come out today and all the German media, no deal. And you're like, what is going on? It's like just madness. It seems like Gvardiol's packed his bags ready to go, and he's sort of waiting. Like I was joking before, people were following a boat last night saying Gvardiol was on his way to Japan. I'm like, what? It's going crackers. We're not got plane watch anymore. It's yacht watch.
Yeah, it is crazy, Jace. I mean, you can see on screen here the sort of obviously what happened yesterday, what's going on right now. Sort of, what are you thinking here? Have you thought about? Have you tried to sort of decipher what's actually happened, or maybe where this is going to go?
To be fair, I'm not that concerned about the deal. I was more concerned because I've been covering it with my daily transfer updates that I just heard nothing for the last 2 or 3 weeks on Josko Gvardiol, and it was going a bit quiet, and everyone was asking me, what's happening? Why is it so quiet? And honestly, I didn't have an answer. I was just like, City are just doing other things. At City, the word from City was they're very relaxed about the situation. So the fact that this has come out has shown that clearly something's happening. And I don't think an agreement, if it's not already been reached, certainly isn't that far away. So I can see a deal certainly being struck very soon for Manchester City, for Josko Gvardiol. I don't think they're too far away. I don't think there's too much to read between what's being said. I just think these are very much, as I was saying in my video today, I just think this is very much a case where Man City and Leipzig are just dotting all their I's, crossing the T's, and just making sure that everything is official, above the water, and where they want it to be when it comes to this transfer deal. Because at the end of the day, this is a massive transfer. It's a massive transfer fee. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort for Manchester City and for Leipzig to get this transfer sorted. I think Fabrizio Romano has already been stated. I think he's gone a little bit earlier. I think he's been told some information, which I don't think is fake, false information. I think he's just been told what's been reported, I presume, coming from Josko Gvardiol's camp, going off his social media campaigns with what he was putting out there yesterday and what he was liking and things. So I certainly don't think there's too much in terms of this deal to be done. I presume, again, it's just what we've been speaking about for the last few weeks, which is just trying to get the structure of this deal sorted, because at the end of the day, 100 million euros as one upfront lump sum for a player is a lot of money. So I presume it's just going to take time to negotiate that one down. I presume we're not far away. So I'm very relaxed about it. I think City will get this deal done. And to me, we've started pre-season now. It doesn't really matter if this gets sorted now or transfer deadline day, as long as we get Josko Gvardiol over the line, which I'm certain we will.
I mean, you're saying there, though, that you think it's close. I mean, Hugh, let me come to you on this one. I mean, these are the words of the Leipzig manager today. I mean, I don't know about you, but these are not the words of a man who believes the player is imminently about to leave the football club. He says, Marco Rose says this. He says, Gvardiol is one of our players, and as far as I know, he'll remain one of ours. I don't know anything about a medical check, nothing about a first, and nothing about a second. I think I would know as a head coach. I mean, that doesn't tell me, Hugh, that's an imminent deal. I mean, the people online are starting to say that there's a potential that this could start getting ugly now. The two clubs are maybe not seeing eye to eye because of what's happened in the last 24 hours. I mean, what's your take on those comments?
Well, I tweeted just before we went live that I think it is getting ugly. I think there's friction now. I don't know. Could you pin that down to Fabrizio Romano's "Here we go"? Is there disagreements in the process of crossing the T's and dotting the I's? We don't know. Like I've been saying for ages, the variables attached to a transfer of this profile and the money involved, they're much deeper and much more important than it would be to say, a 19 million James Trafford move to Burnley. This is much bigger. But yeah, I mean, those are not words of someone who has plans on losing their best centre half. It seems like he's a bit unhappy with the situation, and it's caused a bit of friction possibly between Leipzig and City. I don't know. I still think we'll get him. I'm still calm with the whole thing because I just don't think City would pursue this long to end up getting burnt. It would look a little bit embarrassing for City to have pushed this hard and not get the player in the end. So I think we will get there in the end, but it's definitely a stumbling block, and it's one we didn't need from Fabrizio Romano of all people.
Well, this is, as people in the chat are making us aware, I did see this earlier. Fabrizio Romano has now given an update. This was given at 7:15, so just an hour ago this was given. This is Fabrizio's latest on the Gvardiol situation. Gvardiol deal, tension with Manchester City and Leipzig during final stages of negotiations. Josko, he didn't complete the medical yet. Verbal agreement reached yesterday, medical booked today, but then issues on club side after leak and no green light to medical. So what he's saying there is, but then issues on club side after the leak. So something's after he give the here we go. He's and obviously who knows, he might have been incorrect. No one really knows. He's saying after he's given the here we go, something has happened. My sort of rebuttal and question to that though, Martin, would be if the deal's agreed, what can go wrong? If you've agreed a deal, how can it go wrong if you've already agreed the deal? He said the deal was agreed.
Yeah. Well, he changed it later on, didn't he, to verbally. Said it was verbally agreed and the documents were yet to be signed. But it was weird just reading that tweet then. When it Fabrizio, and this is not me having a go at Fabrizio. When it Fabrizio said the first part of medical was done, and then he's tweeted out an hour ago, no medical was done. So which one? I honestly think looks like Gvardiol's agent or camp has jumped the gun, gone to Fabrizio, and Leipzig and City have gone, hang on, just whoa,
Chill
this
out.
isn't this quick, chill. And Fabrizio had already put it out, and then Gvardiol, like Jay said, he's doing all his social media stuff, following Diaz, all this, and you're like,
Well, what have you made of that? What I mean, everyone on the panel, what's everyone made of this Diaz liking all the, because Diaz actually liked on Instagram the Fabrizio sort of the 433 post about Fabrizio saying it's a here we go. So he's liked it. Now, whether that's him, I mean, we all know that some players don't actually do their own Instagram. They get companies to do it, which, by the way, sounds like the best job in the world. But what we all made of that, Martin? Let me come to you first. What have you made of it? Did you think that's like? Do you think he's crying out? Do you think he's trying to apply pressure? Do you think that he genuinely thought that maybe a deal was done?
yeah, I think Gvardiol's had his bags packed for about 2 months. I think Gvardiol's desperate to get over there, and he's probably getting a bit frustrated, and because it isn't the first time he's put something on. So he was following stuff towards the end of last season. So I think he's absolutely desperate to get in the Man City shirt, but I don't know what has gone on. And do you know what? It's probably generally the really small details that are the most awkward ones to sort out. It's going to be something really stupid. It's going to be like, you know, 1 million here, 500 here. It's going to be like something so daft. And like, it's a huge deal. I think we've all forgotten because we've been desperate for other signings and watching all the outings. We're talking £90 million deal. This doesn't just get done in 5 minutes, shut the case, and we all move on. This is huge. We're talking a world record for a centre back. You're going to have all the PR and everything behind it. It's not just to make the bid, you know, sign the documents and off we go. And there's a lot more to it because there will be a lot of PR behind it, videos that need to go out. There's all sorts that have to be involved in it because it's huge, this deal.
Yeah. Move, do you think the fact that Manchester City have just gone on the pre-season tour, Leipzig have obviously gone on their pre-season tour as well today, do you think that sort of like maybe played a part in Gvardiol putting the pressure on by liking the post, or do you think, what's your sort of take on that?
No, I don't think so, mate. I'm excited to see him liking the tweets and the posts and that because it means that he's hyped to come, you know. And that's a basic requirement for any City signing. You've got to be hyped to be here. Bellingham wasn't hyped to be here. Rice wasn't hyped. Don't want them. I want somebody who really wants to come and get stuck in at City and love it here. So yeah, number one, that I'm really excited to see him getting involved on the socials and that. I think we're pretty chilled out in terms of timelines here. The fact that we've gone to Japan and they've gone to it's Italy, right?
Yeah,
we've got to Italy. Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, if there's the three positions at Man City that I'm comfortable with, depth wise, centre back, goalkeeper, and striker, right? At centre back, you've got 5 of the best centre backs in the world. You know, he would be the 6th if nobody else left. I mean, you can't get any more comfortable than that. So there's no panic at centre back. Worst comes to worst, you stick with Laporte, who's brilliant. Goalkeeper, obviously, you got 2 great goalkeepers, and same for striker. So, yeah, I'm not panicked about the timeline of this, man. So, no, I'm not bothered that they've gone to their respective training camps without a move done. It'll get done. There's no rush for me.
I think you're right there because something that I mentioned on today's stream that me and Hugh did was that this is different to the Ruben Diaz deal in the sense that when we signed Ruben Diaz, that was poor. We needed him in earlier than we got him in. You know what I mean? And that was badly timed. The difference is, as you've just rightly said, is yes, in an ideal world and realistically, you should be trying to get Gvardiol in before you go on the pre-season tour so he can be with the lads from day one. He can have the full pre-season. He can try and sort of understand Pep's tactics. But in terms of the actual team, it's not like a number one requirement. Like I say, when we signed Ruben Diaz and we didn't sign him until played like 3 or 4 games, so that was stupid. We should have got him in earlier. But as you say, because we do have that leeway, you know, we've got Diaz, we've got Stones, we've got Ake, we've got Akanji, and at this moment in time, we still have Emerick Laporte. There isn't that sort of pressure on Manchester City to get him over the line. There is a little bit more coming out just to sort of back up what we've been saying. This is from, what's he called? Pletian or something like that.
Florian Plettenberg.
There you go. Big up, Jace. It says he's been told that an agreement is not in sight on Gvardiol's potential transfer to Manchester City. For Leipzig officials, it is not excluded that the Croatian will stay for 1 more season. Leipzig want 100 million euros as a guaranteed fee plus realistic add-ons. So that could be Champions League wins, it could be caps for Croatia, it could be Ballon d'Or nominations, anything like that. Jay, something that you said earlier, I just want to clarify this because I've not seen it. Are you saying that you've seen or heard somewhere that they want this fee up front in one? Because I've not seen that.
No, what I've heard is they're wanting achievable add-ons included with this, and they've been very insistent because Man City aren't really. I keep hearing the number 86 million pounds, which I think is 100 million euros moved into pounds, and I think City are looking at around 70 £2 million.
They're not going to get in for that, though, Jace. They're not going to get it.
They're not going to, and I think that's what they're aiming for here. Is they're looking. I think City want to put this on to add-ons. I don't think City are moving away from around £70 million.
Well, we won't get in then.
And then they'll just put some add-ons on there, and I think that's what the sticking point is. But there might be a bit of negotiations. If you say Man City keep 10 clean sheets in the Premier League season, you get $2 million here. If he's put in the team of the year, he gets another $2 million here, etc., etc. It is very long, drawn out negotiations. These are negotiations that they don't even take weeks, they take months to get sorted. So I'm taking all encouragement here that Man City are really close to getting a deal done. And I presume now that this is Leipzig making their move in the market by doing everything in their power to say, actually, no, the deal's not done. And if we need to, we'll collapse this deal. We don't need, because they don't need the money. They've already sold a couple of players. I think they've made over 150 million euros already this summer. They don't need that money. That's their value. And if Man City want to sign him, they're going to have to pay that money. And I think this is just Leipzig's last tactic to get an extra few million out of Manchester City, which ultimately are City prepared to collapse the deal for it, to not make it happen over a few £1 million? Remains to be seen. City have done it before. We've seen it with Napoli, long withdrawn negotiations with Jorginho, Koulibaly.
Yeah, but Jace, the difference with this one that's a little bit frustrating for me is that with the other deals, Leipzig have said for the last 18 months, especially in the last year, that they want to make Gvardiol the record price for a defender. We've been tracking this for over a year. Every time we do transfer, I'm sure you've done exactly the same on your personal channel. I'm sure Martin, Move, you've probably seen it all on City Extra, and obviously Hugh's done it with us and he's seen it as well. You're not going to get Gvardiol unless you pay 100 million euros guaranteed fee. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be in a one upfront payment, but you're not going to sign him. They've made this abundantly clear. So if City mess around here and end up pulling away because they're not willing to pay that, if it's over the add-ons, maybe they're being stupid. They want £30 million in add-ons and fares. But if City pull away because they don't want to pay 86 million, then I don't know what's been going on there, because they've made it abundantly clear for the last 12 months of what 86 million. Now, I believe you just asked a question: are City going to collapse this deal? I don't think City are going to collapse this deal, because I think they know just how good Gvardiol is, and I think that would be silly. He's 21 years old. He's one of the most highly rated defenders in world football.
If I was City, this is just me, if I was negotiating at City, which are obviously nowhere near that level, nowhere near that level. But if I was Man City, and this is very much a game of cat and mouse, and this to me, from what I'm reading between the lines, is just Leipzig playing their tactic to try and get Man City to get that world record fee for a centre-back. And they may well get that. And if they do, I'll say kudos, great negotiations. We got it over the line. We got it done. If I'm Manchester City right now, I'd be saying, right, what's our response to this? Because City have got, to me, one of three options here. The options are either pay what Leipzig want, or we go out there and look for somebody else, or we collapse the deal and we stick with what we've got. And I'd be quite tempted, if I was in charge of these negotiations, to just ring up a couple of the big sources, the David Ornsteins, the Fabrizio Romano, and just say, Man City are interested in this centre-back and that centre-back, and they're prepared as their contingency to make a move for them. Because Leipzig might just say, actually, we might not get our 100 million euros this summer now. What are we going to do? They might be happy to keep him. I don't know. Who knows? This is negotiations. It's the fun and games of the transfer market. I think we'll end up paying a world record fee for Gvardiol, is what I think is going to happen. But it's not without City trying here to try and negotiate this price to try and get a really good deal on our behalf. But Leipzig are sticking with this 100 million euros. They're not going anywhere.
I've got Jace ranked somewhere between Peter Swales and Gary Cook, somewhere between those two.
Do you know what? I'll take that.
It's weird because I'm with you. If Leipzig are going to push so much and we won't go to it, City will walk. We will go. It's all right. And I keep saying, people think I'm mad for this, but I'm like, I would love Gvardiol. He's the best up and coming centre back in world football. Is he essential for us right now? No. Because we have we're quite covered across the back line. It's not like, we're desperate, we must get now. I was going to ask a question. When is his release clause next summer that activates it?
I don't know, bro.
I think it's next year, isn't it? His actual release clause.
Yeah. What is it? 80 million quid or something? What's his release clause?
So, my other thing is there's no movement on Laporte.
He'll be loaned out, bro. He'll be loaned or sold for very cheap, and he'll probably go to Bilbao or somewhere like that.
Said that about Cancelo.
I think,
and it's like he's not going nowhere.
unless Pep likes Cancelo, I think he'll be loaned. But yeah, I mean, this is another problem is that we do still have Laporte to deal with, and we've got to get him off the books. You can't have 6 centre backs. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think this is a contributing factor to why maybe Leipzig and City didn't want the here we go to come. I think it's pretty obvious. Leipzig won't want rest of world football, who they're going to dip into the market for to replace Gvardiol with, knowing they've just acquired 100 million euros or 86 million pounds or whatever the number is. So they prefer to hold that information back so that they can go and find a replacement. Also, City will want to hopefully do something with Laporte before they bring in Gvardiol, so they can also get the best deal for themselves. Like, there's lots of gymnastics to this. I still think it's going to get done. I just can't see City pursuing this long. I can't see it being dragged out this long without City either almost having a deal right now or actually having a deal and it's just being held back for X and Y reason. I think the medical talk was a bit weird. I think there's something a bit weird there. I just think there's a deal in place, and I think it's going to be done. It's all too weird.
What Hugh's saying about the dominoes, I find very interesting because I tend to agree with it, but then I wonder, like, I mean, they know that money's coming, is just waiting to come, right? Like they've seen Laporte not play hardly any football in the whole season. They know City are trying to get rid, and they see all the news about City links with Gvardiol. I think other teams know, so maybe I wonder if we overrate that domino factor.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, lads. He jumped in. Thanks for coming on, bro. We've just been talking about the Gvardiol situation. Of course, in the last 24 hours, it's gone from looking like we're going to get him to now it's like, oh, what's going on here? Apparently, a little bit of tension now between the two clubs. What's your sort of take on what has happened over the last 24 hours? Just quickly, while you're speaking, I'm just going to refresh my stream, so I might just drop out for a second.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think it's a mad one, to be honest. I just jumped on a stream myself, actually, and I feel like it's one of those where some might say Fabrizio kind of put his balls on the line a little bit with it. No one else was reporting, and then the here we go kind of, the famous here we go kind of dropped. And it was almost like the deal was kind of done at that point. I don't know about anyone else, but my heart kind of just like was at rest then that we were going to sign the player. And then for this to kind of happen, it's almost like it's been retracted a little bit. He's not said it in so many words himself because obviously his reputation's on the line a bit. But for the deal to kind of go from being here we go to now there's like tensions and stuff involved, that to me is like a bit of a weird one. It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, no, for sure. Look, everyone wants to have their say on this matter because it is a bit of a mad situation. And as we said right at the start of this stream, I struggled to sort of recall a situation where this has sort of happened before. And we were speaking off air, and I can't remember if we said this on air, but apparently Fabrizio Romano, when he said here we go, has never got it wrong. So very strange. Let's have a look at some super chats that have come in then, see what people are saying on this. We've got Italian Stallion says, Fabrizio Romano is either a United or Chelsea fan. He's cost us this Gvardiol. So one of these two teams can take him. Won't be surprised if he joins another club this summer. He's not joining City, from Italian Stallion. Not confident there. Bevel says,
down bad.
Yeah, he's down. He's down.
Fabrizio.
Bevel says, all right, lads, Fabrizio tweeted 45 minutes ago, still on. Yeah, we've seen that one about the tension and the fact that it's still on. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Hugo says they sold in Nkunku without a single problem. Jeremy Kuhn says this feels like Leipzig agreeing to terms and now trying to get more cash out of City. We've seen this before from other clubs. I mean, again, potentially, it's not a ridiculous statement. Cool Guy says, guys, we need to relax and trust the board and Tiki to do what is best for our club. Laporte is still there, but if Walker and Laporte leave, then start worrying. We need to be ready if Gvardiol doesn't join. So he's chill for now, but he's got some thoughts on it. Big up old Bades in the chat, says City signed Sane. And then he says, hello, panel. Hello, Miami. I miss Gundogan. Something about him is special. Yeah, we all miss Gundo. Got a couple more chats here. Big up to Sam McCoy. It says, don't panic. Trust in the process. We won't be taken for a ride by anyone. And this is how the club do business. No rushing. And let's get the right deal. We've got Johnny, who says, Fab Sauce probably jumped the gun. Here we go, and now Leipzig is mad about it. So the club's butting heads now about it. This will get done, in my opinion. Mohammed says, do you think losing so much experience is worrying? We'll come on to that in just a sec, Mohammed. Sign Silver says, we saw many academy players and we won 297 million in prize money. What are we doing? Just pay the cash. He will be the best defender in the world. I've seen that argument from a few people. And finally, Carl says, Mahrez has left, so Alvarez right wing. Don't get my excited on that. Gvardiol Wikipedia thinks he plays for us. Listen, I want to sort of move it on from the Gvardiol thing, but is there anything else anyone wants to say on the Gvardiol situation before we sort of move it on? Are we all done on the Gvardiol talk? Yeah? Buzzing. Right, okay. There is, let's go quickly actually to Mohammed's chat, and then we'll come on to the Bernardo situation. Do you think losing so much experience is worrying? Mahrez obviously has gone to Saudi Arabia. Gundogan has gone to Barcelona. Walker, we don't really know what's going on. The latest news and rumours on that looks like he prefers a move to Bayern Munich, and apparently he's spoken or will speak to Pep this week. Looks like City will be letting him go. Hugh, where are you at, bro, with this one? Experience is key. Losing too much can be a problem, or are we just refreshing our squad and lowering the average age of the squad? Where's your head at?
I think two things can be right at the same time. I think refreshing is important. I think that's what we're doing. And I think that's what Pep's done really, really well a couple of times now since he's arrived. But I have made it clear that I think losing a number of core members to your squad with the experience and the leadership, new players coming in, whatever age they are, young players coming through, they want to look to those guys. And I said, if we were to lose Gundo, Mahrez, Walker, and Bernardo in one summer, that's a massive, massive chunk of experience and understanding the values of the club and Pep system gone out the window, which will have to be reinstalled. So I think it's just about management. I think even just holding on to Bernardo Silva, which we'll get onto, is would be almost for me like a new signing. To get him on a new contract and he says, I'm here, I'm staying kind of thing, that would be a massive, massive lift for me, and I think for all of you as well and for everybody involved. So it's just about balancing and managing it best you can. But I trust Pep and the club to get it right, man. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Is anyone here on this panel worried about losing this experience? Anyone here, obviously, I mean, we know that City could go into the market, but is anyone sitting here now going, don't really like this? Or is everyone kind of chill?
The other thing that walks out the door with the experience is complacency. So there's a bit of an offset happening there. They've won it all. They've finally won the Champions League, which I think, again, I say it all the time, was a bit of a carrot for a lot of the players that have been here a while. They've done that now, so you would expect some complacency to set in with some of those more experienced players. So I do think we're at the point where losing one more might, particularly Bernardo, specifically Bernardo. I think now that Mahrez is gone, you have to keep Bernardo, and I'm sure they will. I think they'll just rule out him going altogether. I just can't go at this point. But no, I think there's some offset between losing experience but also losing complacency.
Yeah, cool. Well, I want to speak about Bernardo Silva. Before we do, big up to the guys at Manscaped. Check this out, guys. Make sure you spam the Kiwis in the chat. Bernardo talk coming right up. 85% of partners prefer a man who is groomed below the waist, and 96% of partners think bad grooming is a major turn-off. That's where Manscaped have come in to help us all out, including myself, lads. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a trimmer specifically designed with our crown jewels in mind. It has skin-safe technology to reduce those nicks and cuts and gives you the maximum confidence while trimming below the waist. It's also IPX7 waterproof rated, so you can operate in wet or dry conditions. It has a premium premium 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology and a massive 90-minute battery time, which is supported by its wireless electromagnetic charging function. With the Performance Package 4.0, you'll get the Crop Reviver with Witch Hazel and powerful odor defense. This keeps your balls protected after a good shave. Crop Preserver with its soothing aloe vera and advanced quick absorbing cream, keeping your balls feeling fresh and hydrated. And the Weed Whacker to trim ear and nose hair. The Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep you the most groomed man in the room. Use our code XTRA20 XTRA20 at checkout and you'll save yourself 20% off your order and receive free international shipping. Right, Bernardo Silva time, guys. This is a really interesting one now. Of course, Bernardo Silva's wanted to leave this football club now. What is it, 2 or 3 years or something like that? The bid has never come in for Bernardo Silva, and he's still at Manchester City. Clearly, everyone knows it's no secret that he wants to go to Barcelona. That's not going to happen. They've got financial difficulties and can't afford him. There were rumours about PSG. Apparently, they made a bit of a bid last year, but nothing's really materialising here. We heard that Saudi Arabia really wanted him. That's gone quiet. One would imagine that he's probably, sort of like declined that offer. Otherwise, that probably would have picked up pace. He's really not got a lot of places he can go. And obviously, he can stay at Manchester City. Now, there are rumours flying around that Manchester City have offered him a new contract, which is, again, reasonable. They want to keep the player. He's not on a massive wage relative to everybody else. And there's rumours going around that they potentially offered Bernardo £300,000, which is a similar wage to Jack Grealish, below the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland. Martin, where are you on this, mate? Couple of rumours coming out, a couple of ITKs. Of course, you've always got to take it with a pinch of salt. But do you think that City maybe could block a deal for Bernardo being sold, as Moove said? Or do you think he's just going to be open to signing this contract and then just maybe moving on when he's 32 to Benfica, which was his original plan?
Yeah, I think he'll sign the deal. And he stays. It's over. We move on. And it puts to bed my Alvarez to right wing thing.
That's already put to bed, bro. There's no discussion.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, you're not giving. I'm not giving up on this. No. Like I said, I got told today it was done. Contract done, sorted, moved on. Before they went out. So we'll see if that's all true or whether it's just ITK stuff. We don't know, but yeah, that's my issue. I think it had to be sorted this summer. Either went or new contract. We couldn't allow it to get to Bernardo's court. You go to the last year of his deal, the ball's in that. He's basically in his court. And the trouble is, I've always said, if PSG were that desperate for him, there's been no bid. Why has nobody come for him? Why has nobody come for him?
Because they're all idiots, mate. They're all idiots. They can be. It's the same with Laporte. Why is no one bidding for Laporte?
I find it madness. Barcelona keep coming with begging balls, and there's still always 40 million for Torres. It's like, no, you can't afford the player. But we've already sold you. What makes you think you're taking Bernardo? Go away. At the end of the day, he's not going to get his move. He had to realise at some point, I'm not going to get to Barcelona. I have to accept that now, move on. And the best place for him is Manchester City. He's not going to get it anywhere else. He's not going to get it as good.
Yeah. I sorry, but I just quickly, I think sometimes Bernardo, I don't think he fully understands just how good he is. And we've sort of discussed about this before on streams, and that there's only a couple of clubs that he can go to in Europe. And that's Real Madrid, Barcelona. Well, Real Madrid, I don't see him ever playing for Real Madrid. He just doesn't seem like a sort of Real Madrid type of player. Barcelona is skint. PSG, but if they really wanted it, PSG wanted Bernardo. They'd have Bernardo. They're not short of a few quid. You know what I mean? They can afford him. But does he want to go to France? Germany can't afford him, and Italy can't afford him. So, there's these 3 clubs, unless you want to stay in England, which I don't think he does. There's only really 3 clubs that I can think of that can take him. And like I say, 2 of them are off limits, and the other one, if they wanted him, they could have had him. So Yeah, I think you're right, bro. I think you're right. Mulv, did you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, no, just when I look at the wages that he's on in comparison to some of the other City players, I don't think it's really a coincidence that he's popped off for 2 or 3 seasons in a row. Like,
I don't think that is the reason he's popped off.
if I find out that GSGC, you're paying him more than you're paying me for this episode, I'll be on to Steve McInerney in a flash, man. So,
Yeah, but JSGC brings yeah, but bro, JSGC is clear. JSGC clear,
Hang on,
man.
are we getting paid? Don't me any of this.
Look what he started. No one's getting paid.
LB, I'm
getting
listening to you later.
I reckon.
Me, you, and Freddie have a chat.
Oh, look at what you've done, Mulv.
I think we need some justice.
Get him out of here.
We need some justice in the chat. Justice for Martin. Justice for MCFC lads. Get it in the chat.
Wait, did you know about this?
Joking.
I was chatting my agent.
Is that it, Mulv? You're going to create chaos and then just...
Martin's been here we go to...
I'm just here for banter, man. I've got no good opinion, so just jokes.
That's why you don't get paid.
That's
You're here for the jokes, man. You're here to satisfy our US audience. That's it.
Got the whole budget, Lewis.
And I'm here for the people in the old people's home. So
That's
you're
it.
all right.
You're all here for strategic reasons. That's it. No, but go on, Mulv. You go on. The point that you was making about his wages.
No, I mean, I was being honest. Like, I mean, there is a disparity between his wages and some of the other players.
See if I can bring it up.
I don't know.
Lads, what are you saying about Bernardo?
Yeah, I mean, I did a quick video to be fair about a week ago, and I just kind of talked through kind of what the timeline type thing of it. And for me, I think there's obviously talk of Barcelona. That's not going to happen. PSG, it doesn't seem to be happening. And if you just kind of look at the last couple of seasons, there's always been a few teams interested in him, but there's never been an offer that has come in where City have said we're happy to kind of sell him. So you need obviously Bernardo to be happy, and then both teams to be happy. And there doesn't seem to be a situation where a team's going to offer enough for City to be happy. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't see him leaving. Don't see him leaving.
Yeah, I mean, more mentioned the wages. I mean, it is kind of crazy. Now, obviously, this was his old contract, and I'm sure City would have had a contract on the table for the last couple of years that he's decided not to sign. But if you look at who's above it, I mean, Calvin Phillips is on the same wage as him. Akanji, as good as he's been this year, is on higher wage than him. Cancelo's on £250,000. I mean, Grealish is on 300. So City have apparently put an offer. If you believe the rumours, City have apparently put an offer somewhere around here. I'd imagine that he's better than Grealish. So it should be above Grealish, behind Haaland, like 350, 325. We'll have to see what happens to see on that one. But I said in the group chat today, I think that Bernardo Silva might become one of the first players to sign a contract and not actually want to stay at the football club where he's signing the contract. But there's nothing else that he can do. The only offer that I can see at the moment is the Saudi one. But he's really got to think about that. Do I really want to go Saudi?
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
No, not 28. Not 28, Jay. So, I mean, what's your take on this?
I can't see Bernardo Silva ending up in Saudi Arabia, if I'm completely honest. I mean, if he does, and I don't mean it's any disrespect to the Saudi Arabian league, it's an up-and-coming league. Bernardo Silva going into his prime years is getting wasted out there. Bernardo Silva needs to be playing in the biggest competitions around the biggest teams, and right now that is in Europe. And what you were saying before, Lewis, spot on. There's just no other club where Bernardo Silva can go to. There's no better place for Bernardo Silva than learning from Pep Guardiola and getting better. And I'm mesmerized that Manchester City have let this go on, because is this the third consecutive summer now of Bernardo Silva's future? It's tiring. Don't know about anybody else, but hearing about Bernardo Silva's future summer after summer after summer, it's tiring. I don't understand why City haven't tried to get this tied up ages ago.
But what could they have done though, Jace? What could they have done? Just because no one's bidded for the player. No one's bidded for the player, and he's not going to sign a new contract.
He wants to leave. No one's bidded for him, and he's just sat in this position where he wants to go, but there's no one coming to pick him up. Do you know what I mean? City
He's
can't
just-
really offer him, even if you offered him $1 billion a week at this point, he's saying he don't want to be here. Do you know what I mean? So it's a weird one.
I don't see where else where he can go. I could almost suggest that if he goes to Barcelona, runs his contract down and goes to Barcelona, Barcelona's becoming a little bit of a retirement home. City have got the best players in the world. Bernardo Silva's got everything around him that makes him into one of the best players in the world. And I just don't see, in terms of his footballing ability, where else he wants to be. And do you know what? The weather that we're having in the UK right now, do you reckon Bernardo Silva's looking at the heat wave happening in Europe and thinking, do you know what? But that 35, 40 degrees, I fancy that over this 18 degrees that we're having here, because that's the only thing that I think that Bernardo Silva's unsettled about. He just doesn't like the Manchester weather. Doesn't like that it's not always hot, that it's always raining. But to me, you have to weigh up your personal life along with your professional life, and you have to weigh up what's the best thing to do at this point in his career. And he's going into his prime years. To me, there's nowhere else Bernardo Silva needs to be right now than Manchester City. Manchester City is the club that will get the very best out of Bernardo Silva, in my complete honest opinion. And if we can get him tied onto a new deal, even if it's just an extra year or two on top of his current deal, I think that's as good as Manchester City making a new signing this summer. I think that would be an excellent bit of business. And with all these rumours going around about Riyad Mahrez, he's set to leave Manchester City. Now, this summer, more than any other summer, we need to keep hold of Bernardo Silva, because if we lose Bernardo Silva, it will take at least 2 players to replace him. And that, to me, would dip into what you was mentioning before about losing these experienced players. We can cope with losing players who are going into their 30s, who are getting no younger. What we don't want to do is lose a prime Bernardo Silva, because that would be the biggest of the blows. And we've got some pretty big blows this summer in losing Gundogan, a Walker, Mahrez as well. That is a devastating summer of losing all your experienced players. Put Bernardo Silva in there, and all of a sudden this becomes a rebuild job. So it becomes very complicated.
Well, if you sign him on a 2-year contract, that'll take him to 32, and he'll be out of contract at 32, and that's exactly when he wanted to go to Benfica. So that's perfect for him. City will lose him on a free transfer, but I think people deep that shit too much, mate. You know what I mean? Because if you can keep Bernardo Silva for another 4 years and then lose him on a free transfer, I'm going to take that personally. And I know people are like, no, we need to sell him, we need to get some cash out of him, but he'll be 32. To keep him for the next 4 years, that is massive. And if the price you have to pay is he leaves on a free transfer, a little bit like Gundogan, then so be it. But he's wanted to go to Benfica. We all know that he wants to do that at 32. So, yeah, I mean, it's a crazy situation with Bernardo. It's gone on for a while.
I think Mahrez going is the final straw with Bernardo. He simply cannot go now. The club are not mugs. People talk about us like we're mugs, like Cheeky and them, like they've messed up this summer. And it's too much panic for me. Like, if Mahrez goes, you don't have a right winger, so it has to be Bernardo. Bernardo was the guy down the stretch in the last few games. He was brilliant. Now he doesn't have to compete with Mahrez for that spot. That can be his spot, and that's one of the things you would present to him when you were giving him his pay raise. That's you're the right winger now. He simply can't go. We're not stupid.
Yeah, I think the club they're doubling down on that. I think we're saying is right, but I've no issue with losing Bernardo Silva on a free, in 3 or 4 years, give him the kind of David Silva treatment, because he'll have done 10-year service at the club and won everything around him, and I think it's worthy of giving him the 3rd highest paid player at the club at this stage, behind Haaland and De Bruyne, or De Bruyne and Haaland, whichever one's on top. I think he deserves it at this point. And you're right, we can't let him go. We can't let him go. It's far too important. I already said earlier on the show, if you're to lose all 4 of those players, or 5 of them, however many it is, I think that is too much. And I think it is irreparable in one summer. But holding on to Bernardo Silva, I think that will be a massive boost for everybody. So I heard today, I think all of you heard the exact same thing, that they're coming to an agreement, or Bernardo Silva's coming around to the idea of staying in Manchester City. I'm not saying I'm ITK. I'm not saying take it as gospel, because people do get things wrong. But I think it's good, and I think Bernardo seeing Mahrez go will make him feel more assured about his role at the club, and giving him more money will make him feel more important, and he'll want to stay for that. So I think that one's a good situation.
I think he's also just realised, bro, that he can fucking moan all he wants, and he can do all these interviews with Portugal Record newspaper, and he can chat whatever he wants to chat. No one's bidding for you, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. I don't know why, but no one's bidding for
it's
you.
hard to think that we nearly sold him to AC Milan for like 40 million a couple summers ago. Do you remember that? I was in Manchester Airport. We'd just beaten Arsenal, I think 5-0, and I was coming home straight after. And all the players were heading off on international duty, and he was first in, so we hadn't seen any other players yet. He walks in, and I was with my old friend Dara Revel, and we're like, "Oh shit, he's going!" Like Bernardo's about to hop on a flight to AC Milan, and he's gone. But it never happened. Never happened. He's still here. 6 windows later, or whatever it was.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I think he's probably come to the realization that he's not going to be able to move. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's not City's fault. City haven't done anything wrong. City have been like, bring us the fee and you can go. You know what I mean? No one's brought us the fee. That's why he's still a Manchester City player. And now he's got to think to himself, if I don't sign this contract putting me on 300k a week, right, and stay again for another year, there's no guarantee that someone will bid for you next year. There's no guarantee. And then you could do another year, leave on a free, where you could have been earning 300 grand a week. Also, then you've got a bit of a problem because then you need to sign for a club, but you need to say, I'm only signing for 2 years because I want to go to Benfica when I'm 32. You know, clubs really going to give you that sign-on bonus, give you the big wages for 30, and then let you go on a free transfer to Benfica 2 years later? Probably not. So you're probably just going to think to yourself, you know what? Let me sign this contract, 300 grand a week, 4 years. I go to bed. I'm sure City will put some sort of deal, or maybe even just do a 2-year contract extension so he can leave on a free, go to Benfica at 32, which is his original plan. The fans love him. You know, we all love Bernardo Silva. You very, very rarely see a bad word said about Bernardo Silva. Just stay, man. Get the cash and just enjoy it. You know, rain ain't that bad, man. I promise you. You know what I mean?
I think he's if he signs a new deal, it means he's come around to that. If he signs a new deal, it means he's cut his losses. He's given up on the Barca dream and the Mediterranean dream, whatever it is.
What's he gonna say on the interview, bro? When they like do like a sit down interview with him with the contract? I want the City guy just to be proper honest and just be like, yeah, we know why you've signed a contract. You don't actually want to be here. I think it'd be funny if he said, yeah, like, no one wanted me.
Use the Wolf of Wall Street clip. Just use the I'm not fucking leaving clip. All the Twitter fans go crazy for that. But
I wish I was, but I'm not leaving. Yeah.
It's time I've got 300 reasons why I've stayed. You're like, yeah, of course you did. The weather's still shit, but never mind.
Hey, I think my comments about Bernardo Silva being the first choice right winger have brought some Cole Palmer fans out in the chat over here, which I love, by the way. I wonder, would you guys be comfortable if Bernardo stays, him being the first choice right winger, and Cole Palmer and say James McAtee being sort of behind him? What are your thoughts on that?
I would, but it wouldn't be straight up second. I'd have to maybe move Foden in there from time to time. Like if we're playing Liverpool away, I'm not playing Cole Palmer like straight away.
No. I'm talking about, you know.
I don't know. It depends, man. It depends because some people are like really want to push the academy, and I fully understand that. But there's other people, and I fully get this, who are like, we are in a unique situation where we are flush with cash and we have the best manager of all time. And whilst he's here, you give him the tools to win every single possible trophy. When he goes, we know there's going to be a dip. We know we're not going to be as successful as we are now because Pep Gvardiol is the best. If you don't have the best, you won't have the same success. Then maybe you can start pushing the academy a little bit more. But whilst you have Pep, you go for everything and you have the best. Like, so I don't know. I mean, what you guys think, Jace? What are you saying?
I think Cole needs a full season of proper men's football where he's playing week in, week out, regular minutes, and it's not going to happen at Manchester City. And I think it'll do him the world of good to get a good loan under his belt, and then in 12 months' time, have a look at Cole Palmer, because not just for his development, but Man City also get their answer as to whether Cole Palmer is good enough in the Premier League. There's talk of him going to Brighton. Send him to Brighton, give him a season, see how he does, and if
apparently they don't want a loan though, do they? Apparently they're saying
I've heard they want a permanent transfer, don't they? And do you know what? This might be controversial, but I wouldn't be completely against that for his development. I think if we are to let him go permanently, I'd want a really good fee for him, an attacking player with bags of potential. I'd expect a good fee and try and get as cheap a buyback clause on him as possible. I'm just with you get so many young players coming through who are top quality. They're literally like the best quality youngsters you can get who aren't going to make it at Man City because Man City's level is so high that it's just few and far between. And I say this all the time on my videos. It's okay to leave Manchester City. It's okay to go somewhere else. It's okay to go somewhere else and do really well. And it's also okay if you do really well, you get rewarded for that and you have the option to potentially come back to Manchester City. And I think that might be the best thing for Cole Palmer, in my opinion.
Does that mean we have to sign? You would sign another right winger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think, yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you? Yeah, 100% you'd have to. Big up to Curly, says Gvardiol looking, starting to look like the Koulibaly deal all over again. Yeah, we'll have to see how it develops, bro. And Nathan says he's just got married. It's about Bernardo. He's just got married and has a kid on the way. If we can get him settled down on a new contract, I think he'll be happy to stay. So, yeah, we'll have to see on that one, man. But let's see what happens with Bernardo. I think there's a reasonable chance, a good chance that he will end up staying and maybe even signing a new contract, which would be amazing and which would probably take him to 32. But lads, we're going to wrap it up, man. Love Island is about to start. Jace, go on, mate. What's going on the channel, bro? Where you at?
Busy. We've got the daily transfer updates, got my live show coming up tomorrow, speaking all things transfers, going over all the points we've gone over today, and whatever else happens in the ever fast-paced developments of the transfer market. Going to be having a good look at potential replacements if we do want to dip into the market, have a look at some players to maybe replace Riyad Mahrez and Kyle Walker, but no rest for the wicked, as they say. Busy, but looking forward to it.
Cheers for coming on. Move. What's going on with the pod, man?
Yeah, Noisy Neighbours podcast, still on summer holiday. But we'll be back soon. I think the next pod's going to be about like which teams should expect to win the title next year, because I think there's a handful. So we'll be looking at the Premier League, talking about who, summer moves, who's put themselves in a position to win it and that, or should expect to. So hopefully within the next week we'll have another show out. So thanks for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on. Defo check out Noisy Pod, guys. Really, really good podcast. Hugh, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, you can find me over at City Extra talking shit with a couple of dickheads every day, waffling. Yeah, it's good fun, man. Subscribe to City Extra on the road to 80k. Oh, I'm actually about to go live now over on my own personal channel with Joe. So go over there right now and come and join. We're going to talk about Gvardiol, Bernardo, and general Premier League shit as well. So yeah, come over there if you want.
Big up HMTV. And Martin, what's going on?
We're live in 30 minutes with our Thursday night show, last one before I go off on my jollies for 2 weeks, back for the Community Shield. We're going to talk Bernardo, how we don't think there has to be a replacement on the right wing, which is a bit of a different spin on it. No, I'm not doing the Alvarez thing. Stop, because...
Oh, it's not Alvarez?
No, we're looking at Bernardo and Foden.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Foden needs to go somewhere when Kevin's fit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When Kevin's fit, you put Phil.
True.
See, you just jumped straight onto the
Alvarez thing there. You always ramming it on the stream, man. So I just thought naturally you was gonna try and propaganda the whole Alvarez on the right wing.
Hey, Martin, you ever consider putting Alvarez on the left wing? See what happens there.
Don't be giving me ideas.
I've removed Jason for that comment, mate. He's like, I'm not having him for that.
Yeah, you're not getting paid now. Your money's being retracted.
Decreased, declined.
Let's talk Carlos Borges, that sort of thing. Parma, everything.
Nah, sounds good, man. Sounds good. Clash show tonight, guys. Thank you all for coming on. Hopefully you guys watching enjoyed it. Enjoyed the show. Very good show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to all the lads' channels as well. Hugh's going live. Martin's going live in a bit as well. So go check them out. Big up to Manscaped for sponsoring today's stream. And we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.